Have you ever felt that as soon as you got to the age of 40 and over, that your weight just basically piled on? It happened basically to me what felt like overnight when I got to the age of 40. And no matter what you do, it doesn't want to shift. Well, I think I've found solutions to this, and it's not rocket science, but it does mean about being patient. So let's talk a bit more about why we gain weight when we get to the age of 40 plus, what happens, and the methods that could help you lose weight if you want to do so. Are you with me? Weight gain after 40. Let's talk. So, after 40, our hormones deplete as women, okay? We start gaining weight, we start feeling sluggish, and we actually lose muscle tone as well. And hormones basically can fluctuate. So this has a massive impact on how we are, how we function, what we do on a daily basis. What feels right to us now may change. What used to feel right before now longer feels right to us, or we can no longer achieve the same. You might be continually eating a healthy, balanced diet, but what you're feeling or finding is now, no matter what you used to do, it doesn't work anymore. And you feel like, oh my gosh, what can I do? What can I do to get this weight off, because your midsection is starting to expand. Now, if you're like me, that certainly has happened. So, like, I realized what I was trying to do in my 30s that worked at the time no longer works for me now that I'm 45. So, something had to change, and I have been looking and researching, and you name it, there's so many different styles and types of diets. And some people say eat this, some people say don't eat that, move this way, don't move that way, and it can be quite overwhelming. um, but I think for me, I found something that works for me, and I just want to share it with you and see if you have come across this, or if you've started doing this. Also, if you have found a way that actually helps you, please share with us in this community, because I would love to know. And I'm very much open to suggestions and ideas and to try things. You never know. Not one size fits all, right? So for me, endless cardio, crash diets, food restrictions, it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me anymore. Nothing I used to do works for me now. So I had to really sort of go back to basics and look at my diet. I had to think, right, okay, what can I do? What can I afford? Because it does affect your budget. The way the cost of living has gone up as well. It's really difficult, isn't it? When you're trying to eat healthily, you want to buy the right foods. You're looking at the nutritional, factor within foods that you eat. You're scanning the labels on things, and you're becoming more self-aware, more self-conscious even. Does that sound like you? And the thing is, the more restricted I became with my diet, the less energy I had. And again, when you're going through the change, when you get to over the age of 40, you don't have the same energy like you was when you were 21. Fact, right? Because things change, your body changes, your body's recognizing, oh, I'm not that 21-year-old anymore. I can't go to work a full week, whatever, and then go straight out clubbing and then literally have an hour, 2 hours sleep and then rest, repeat, carry on. Your body would be like, no chance. The thought of even going out after work these days just is like a no for me. And it's not because I don't want to be social as such. It's just my priorities have changed, and I don't need or want necessarily to want to go out like that, especially after working a full day. I really just want to focus on my well-being, my mental health, and I just do what feels right to me. And yeah, it may seem selfish to some, but to me, I have to be cruel to be kind, right? I have to think about what's right for me. It's not about keeping up with the Joneses. It's not about being in with an in crowd. I really don't care, if I'm totally honest. I'm so happy in my own space, in my own little bubble. I like to choose when I do things. I like to plan things now more so than ever. So if any of this resonates, please keep watching. And if you're still here now, thank you. Please like and subscribe this video. I would really appreciate it and your support. Thank you. So what I have learned is I focused on my strength, as in my mental strength and my physical strength. Um, Protein and rest is the other two things that I think about as well, and what I focus on. I'm looking to increase my levels of protein. I think I didn't actually eat or plan to eat as much protein as I should have. And I've started to look into this more. Now, there are different types of proteins out there. It doesn't necessarily mean you've got to eat meat, right? You can look at other things too. And that's down to you to search and Google and whatever else. I'm not medically trained. I'm not here nutritionally trained. This is purely my research, my experience. And most importantly, out of everything that you're going through, please think that this is about being kind to yourself, okay? This is about acknowledging that, yes, there are changes happening. There's not much we can do about that as such. However, if we work with it and be kinder to ourselves, then that in itself is half the battle, right? So, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start looking into strength training. I'm going to look at my meals and try and be more wholesome with my foods, you know, more clean eating foods, and I'm going to increase protein, as I mentioned. Strength training is also something I'm going to start looking at because as we get older, we do lose muscle mass, and because your bone density changes when you go through the menopause, your bones become more brittle. So I really want to look at increasing the strength in myself to support my body and how it functions. And I also have problems with my back and my joints and my knees, especially. My back and my knees are the main two areas that I suffer with. And being overweight is not helping, I know. But it's also part down to injury as well from when I used to nurse. So I know that I have got to look at my core muscles, my back strength, different areas, my knees, think of ways that I can adapt to adjust so that I can start strengthening my muscles. Now, I'm not going to do this quickly overnight. It's not a one quick fix for anybody. You shouldn't do that anyway. Please seek advice from a professional. If you are looking to do weight training or exercise, or if you're looking at your diet, again, please seek help and advice from a qualified individual. Um, I am not going to rush into this. I'm going to be really kind to myself and not overdo it because I don't want to overwhelm myself because we already suffer with overwhelmment as it is going through the change. Our memories aren't what they used to be. We're gaining weight, we feel miserable, we're exhausted, and so on. So I am going to be doing this gradually. And over time, I believe that I'm going to get there. And so I will start documenting some of my trainings and show you what I do from home because I'm busy. I've got multiple businesses, I'm building, I'm attending meetings. I could have a Zoom call at 8 o'clock at night. I could have a Zoom call at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. So I've really got to think about what it is that I can do and fit it into the rest of my working life and what I'm doing whilst building businesses. So I will document and show you what I do. Now, again, like I say, please seek advice. This is just purely my experience, okay? So I have got a list to the side of me, which is why I keep looking down because I can't remember everything off the top of my head. And I want to make sure I cover everything with you as honestly and, what I'm planning to do for myself. So I'm, transparent and consistent with what I'm trying to get through to you with my message about what I'm doing. So I'm also looking at my actual stress levels. And what I mean by that is when you get really stressed, your cortisol levels rise, okay? And that's what increases you to feel really on edge, sluggish. It also makes you actually pile weight on more so because your cortisol levels are high. Now, I'm not science based. I'm not science and qualified and whatever. Please do your research. But I understand the process of that. And that's where basically your belly fat is stored. This is why you gain that midsection, that increase in your waistline, your tummy area. You look more bloated. Again, that's contributed to some foods maybe that you're eating as well, and hormonal imbalances. The other thing as well is sleep. Now, I know, again, going through the menopause, your sleep can be just shocking. You never know when you're going to have a decent night's sleep, if at all any. That pretty much is non existent. I think maybe once a year I manage to sleep through 6 hours, and that's massive for me. That's a real big deal. No matter what I do at night, I always do something calming, relaxing. I reduce the light. I have dim lighting in my house. I never have really bright lights anyway. I reduce the amount of blue screen activity that I have towards the evening. I listen to relaxation music. That's a big thing for me. I like listening to meditation music, and things that I feel resonate with me. And I also try and do some breathing and mindfulness, because I try to distract what's going on from the business mind that I've got, because I'm very creative and I like to think about things and plan things and organize. And that's naturally me. Even when I was away recently, I was constantly thinking about business ideas and business this and, but that's where I thrive on. I love that. So there is an element of me that can't sit still mentally so much than physically. Um, but what I want to do is try to rest. If I'm not sleeping as much as I want to, then at least try and have 20 minutes rest here, half-hour rest there, if and when possible. Now, it is hard because life gets in the way. And, with commitments and things going on and things that you cannot always plan for, it is difficult. And I get that. But what I want to say to you is this. So if you're struggling with your weight and you're over 40, please do not give up. Please do not be hard on yourself, all right? Because it is a bit of a culture shock in some respects, because one day you think, oh my God, I used to fit into that, whatever. And now you look at your wardrobe and you think, hardly anything fits me anymore. And it's not just by one size, you may have to go up by two or three. That certainly is me. And I hate that feeling. Honestly, I do. But I also understand that I'm still grateful that I still get the chance to get up and start again, because I'm now here again, living another day. I'm living and breathing, and that's something I can never take for granted. I'm so grateful to be here. And it might sound cheesy and cliche, but there are loads of people that would wish they could have another day, another moment. And that's what I put into perspective, not to be hard on myself, but also to recognize that I do have this chance, I do have this opportunity to try and to change things and to make myself feel happier, healthier, and to function and just to be kind, and that goes a long way. So ultimately, I don't want you to be really annoyed or angry with yourself. It is frustrating, okay? I get it, and I wish I could go back to when I was in my early 20s, when I was a gym bunny. I used to kickbox, I used to do loads of things, and I was constantly physically on the go as well as mentally. And sadly, a stressful job basically got in the way, and I basically work shifts, and my hours more than increased than what I was used to working. So I ended up missing out on going to the gym because the gym was shut by the time I'd finished work. And then I became, stuck in that cycle where I was trying to forever chase my tail with the work commitments, because there was a lot of things I had to deal with and they had to be dealt with in a timely manner. So unfortunately, my work really did take over my life, and my fitness just went out the window. But I still kept eating the same, and that's when the weight gradually piled on. Fast forward now, over 20 years or nearly 20 years later, menopause, everything else that goes with it. So believe me when I know what it's like to gain weight. And I am 4 stone heavier, at least 4 stone heavier than where I would like to be. So this is going to be a long-term goal and journey for me in terms of my weight loss side of things. And I will share updates and wins and things that worked and didn't work. I'm going to be completely honest and transparent with you. But this channel isn't just about weight loss. It is about hormones. It's about life. It's about, creating my life that I want to create, which is the freedom. It's about the travel element, my travel business. It's about lots of things. So thank you so much for staying here and watching this right through to the end. And if you haven't done so already, I would love it if you could please just like and subscribe. Please comment where you're from, where you're watching from, what you do if you find that it helps you in terms with your weight loss or weight gain or whatever it is you need to do with your life. And it'd be great to share. Let's build this community, guys. This isn't just about me. This is about helping one another and about being kind. So thank you again for being here. Until the next time, take care, stay safe, stay blessed.